Hey beautifuls, it's Preem. Today I want to talk about, I'm going to title this video, It's Now or Never. No, I'm sorry. Well, now or never is good, right? But it's the final hour and black women, we must choose ourselves. This feels like it's it, right? This feels like to us, like if we don't choose ourselves this time, right? This time in history, if we don't choose ourselves, it's probably no recovering from it. And I'm sorry, I have a summertime cold, but anyhow, we all have this kind of sense of urgency, right? It's like it truly feels like it's now or never. Like either I'm gonna do it or I'm not, right? And we can't really figure out what's coming, right? We don't really know. We're all just guessing. You know, yeah. So we're all just guessing, right? Um, we don't know what's coming, but because we're such spiritual beings, right? We know that something is coming, and what we know is because of our place. And this is, this is for black women in general, but specifically African American women, right? Our place in society as we know it, right, is at the bottom, right? And we know that no one is gonna protect us if the shit does hit the fan, right? And if it is kind of like this, anything can happen. We really don't know. So if it's like a civil war, if all the white boys really truly do decide, because if all the white boys really do truly decide that they want war with the United States government, which could happen because they did just storm the castle, the Capitol, what, a year or so ago, right? And it is kind of like this undercurrent of um, white male anger that we live in, right? And I felt like I'm not gonna get way too deep into it on this YouTube, but what I will say is I feel like in some ways divestment is putting black women to sleep, right? And it's having us forget who white males are and how vicious they can be, right? And in a moment where white males are storming the castle, they angry at their women and forcing their women not to have abortions, or forcing white women, right? Yeah, white women belong to you. See, the difference here is that white women really do belong to white males, right? Um, so yeah, they're forcing their women to not have abortions, along with the rest of the women, right? Um, and they're going up and they're shooting up places. They're shooting up schools. They're shooting up supermarkets with black people in it. They mad because they can't get no pussy, and that's the same thing with all. Okay, let me tell you. Let's go back, right? Okay, all males are feeling this way, right? But no males have the power in this society like white males, right? Black males can get upset, and they're chopping down black women every 5 hours, right? And not that black women don't count, or we shouldn't be angry about that, or we should not be fearful about that. But that's just one way, right? We're conscious of that as black women, right? Especially as I'm gonna use the word divested black women for this conversation, because crowning black women, we know better. We know better. At some point in our subconscious mind, we know that we do have a little whisper that, yeah, black males are fucking horrific and they're fucking horrible, but it's because they're at the bottom of this patriarchal society. So it makes them more violent, it makes them more angry. They know that they don't hold up their end of the patriarchal standard, right? That's why white males don't value them. And the reason why white males don't value black males, I'm gonna say it here, but I'll get into it further in a more private space. But the reason why is because black males can't control us, right? And I know that we talk about black women and being male identified, and we talk about how black women are so concerned with black males they can't think past anything else. But black women are not being controlled by black men, right? And they never have been in the history of all of the histories, right? Black males have never been in a position to actually control black women, right? And white males and the rest of the world males are looking at them like, what in the fuck is wrong with y'all? Right? Because white males, white zaddy decided, I'm going to conquer the whole world, right? And I'm going to put it at white women's feet. And as a result, she'll forever be dependent on me. And in the moment that she is not, in the moment that she thinks that she can flex, right? In the moment that she thinks that she can flex, I'll just take back her rights. Literally. That's what white males did. I'm not making this up. That's what the fuck happened. Or that's one of the things that happened. A lot of things happened with Roe versus Wade being overturned. But one of it was one of those things that white males were saying was, listen, this is a right I gave you, and I gave it to you, and I'll take it back, along with every other right I have given you. is what he was saying to white women, right? And black women hear that a little different, and we should, right? Because he'll take Roe versus Wade, right? They already did that. They'll take back women voting. They'll do that, right? And they'll take back. I don't know how white males really feel about interracial dating, but they'll take that from black males, right? Or non-white males, right? They'll take that back from them. Like, y'all don't get to have this. Like, yes, if we so decide, because you have to keep in mind how interracial marriage even became legal. It had to be a white male to even get heard, right? So yeah, we'll marry your women, or what they think is their women, right? Because nobody is understanding how black women exist in this realm, and how we exist in this realm is fucking free, right? So, in their mind, right, they're like, black males just cannot control their women. They just can't, and it's because they're weak. It's because, this is how white males are thinking. They think like this because everything that white women had, they gave it to white women, right? And they'll take it back. If the white women don't act right, they'll take it back. And our subconscious level, right? Black women understand that feminism or the feminist movement, right, is a table that we all got to eat at as black American women, right? So in our subconscious mind, when we see White Zaddy taking back all the rights that he gave Becky, right, we have to start considering and start thinking, where the fuck does that leave us? Right? And in our subconscious mind, we know that it leaves us in a horrific space, right? It leaves us in a very, very dangerous, dangerous and a very vulnerable space. So, as a result, we're getting desperate. Let's just call it what it is. We're getting desperate. And in our desperation is leading to an isolation that I think works against us, right? So one of the things that I noticed that divestment is, and everybody says that it's a journey, it's a very lonely journey, right? It's a very lonely journey. And a black woman alone is a very, very vulnerable woman, right? And in our vulnerability, in our desperation, we have decided as a collective, as divested black women, to take our power back from black males, and we decided, you know what, it's safer with white males. Right, that's what we think. We think like it's safer with white males. White males are not gonna be as vicious and as violent and as harmful and as cruel to us as black males. And that's a fucking fact, right? We can't deny that, right? Um, but what you were supposed to be doing, right? What we were supposed to be doing was taking our power back, right? Using the time that we were given during the coronavirus, right? To choose ourselves, to find community with Black women, and build strength in each other, right? And that was what when I say it's the final hour, you must choose yourself, Black woman, that's what I mean. No, you cannot go into the folds of white male's patriarchy, because you don't really belong there either. Damn it. That's beneath you too, right? And as I said in the past, that Black women can choose to be queen consorts, right? But even in being a queen consort, you're not necessarily choosing yourself, right? You hope that you choose a white male or non-Black male who's gonna protect you in what's to come, right? That's what our hope is. Like we choose, even my own self, right? Yeah, so even my own self. And let me tell you one thing about me, I'm gonna keep a conservative white male in my pocket, god damn it. You know, one thing about me, I'm gonna keep a conservative white male in my pocket, because I know any event that shit hit the fan, goddamn it, and things get really, really, really violent over here, right? I can play into his patriarchal thought of protecting women and children, right? I'm a single woman, and this is whether I decide to date him, regardless of the relationship that I have with him. I'm a single woman, and if shit hits the fan, I need his protection, right? And in the best case scenario, if he's not a true savage, right, like most males are, he will use his patriarchal value in this society to shield me, right? But that's still a dangerous game to play as a Black woman, right? To think that our safety can be found in someone else is, for Black women who are existing very different than other women, right? So as I said, we exist very differently. Every time I break, y'all, I'm coughing and sneezing and, you know, spreading all my germs. But anyway, as I was saying, because non-Black women were born into a patriarchy, right? They were born into a patriarchy. They were born into this standard of maleness, right? And this standard of males showing who they are by protecting the women and children. And Black women, we don't exist like that, right? That's not, we have come from a matriarchy where the women led, right? And, you know, we raised some catastrophic sons. Them niggas are hateful. Look, I don't have to run through it no more. They hateful, they treasonous, and they are of no use, right? And that's what we got. That's what we got. And I think in a more private setting, I will get into really why I concluded Black women, because I've been pondering these fucking thons for a while now, and really I'm just trying to get to why the fuck they are here, like why the fuck they are here, because I know that their time is up and they don't want to be here anymore, right? In their subconscious mind, they don't want to be here anymore, and they're not supposed to be here anymore. That's why we keep on breeding worse and worse and worse sons. It's like mother saying, can y'all please stop having these fucking demons? Like, why, what the fuck ain't y'all getting? Like, why do y'all keep on having them? But anyway, I'm not getting into the mother of sons, right? I'm trying to focus on why it is Black women, choose yourselves now or never. You can, you know, this is the final hour. This is it for us, and we must choose ourselves, right? So because the history of Black women is so hidden that we can't even find it, right? All we can do now is feel it. And what we do know is that I know that in divested spaces that these women lying, right? And they are lying. I'm telling you, they lying. Black women who are dating white males, married to white males, and let me say this, not all divested women, right? And I'm gonna say, and I'm just gonna, because I know that what I'm saying can sound like it's directed towards her because she has a white husband and she, and she speaks about her white husband. And I want to separate her from the rest of the divested women. So when I say that divested women are married to white beta males, right? We understand that I'm not talking about her, right? So divested zealot, I'm not talking about her in the way that I'm saying that divested black women are marrying fucking beta white males, right? And that's what the fuck most black women are doing. You're marrying and you're going and you're headed to the weakest fucking links of white males, and it's bad. Damn it, it's bad. It's bad because you're deciding to give your power away to a fucking weakling. Like, are y'all okay? Like, y'all can't see that these white boys are fucking weak as shit, right? They're like the fucking lowest rung of white males, right? And so if I just now said that it was not divested zealot, right, who has said that she is married to a white man and she lives in that truth, there was another woman in this divested space who was married to a white male and is now divorced. And I'm telling you that she has said it on her own channel that once she began to grow, he acted like a nigga and wanted a divorce, and they ended up divorcing. I don't know if she divorced him or how the divorce came up, but he acted just like a nigga as she began to live in her. And I want to speak about self-realization versus self-actualization, right? Because I think that this woman went through self-realization a long time ago, right? She realized who she was, but she wasn't living in that kind of divinity. And once she began to live in it, her white beta male didn't want no parts of it, right? And I think a lot, and that's also to say, it was a lot of pretending. It's a lot of pretending that black women have to do to, get into the spaces of these, beta white males, right? So once the real you starts to come out, right, he doesn't like that kind of power either. Okay, all right, let me just get to it. He doesn't like that kind of power either. Now, he's not violent. He's not gonna try to fucking strangle you in some cases, right? He's not gonna start killing you every fucking 6 hours, but he doesn't really like the fact that black women exist as free women. Like, the white males that you guys are reeling in this kind of divested desperation, they're weak as shit. They're weak white males who once you grow out of your self-realization and you start living in your self-actualization, right? And you start living as the divine being that you are, they're not gonna like it either. Okay? And we can get back into how that showed up in history in a private space, right? But how it showed up in history led to your fucking thon selling you out, okay? Once beta white males realize, oh shit, this is a power that I cannot control, right? This is a power that I cannot lead, right? This is a power that I cannot have under my thumb as I am used to having women, right? This power is too great and too grand and too much. Let me get her thumbs to snuff it out. Okay, I'm telling you that. I'm gonna give you that hint. I'm gonna give you that hint, but we'll talk about that in a more private space. But let's just get back to what I'm saying, because I want black women to understand that now is the time as we are waking up, and this is why I worry about divestment with no spiritual connotation, right? With no spiritual, like it's leading nowhere spiritually, right? It's just divestment and get the fuck away from apes, right? And yeah, save yourself, sis. Get the fuck away from them. Okay. And I'm sad because of this link between Divested Zealot and Miss Archduchess never happened, right? Because, and I have my theories on why that did not happen, right? But I felt like, okay, Divested Zealot is getting us over the hump, right? And I mean us as a collective black women, right? She's getting us over the hump. Like, get the fuck away from those apes before they kill you. And that's really what the fuck her content is about. Get your ass away from them fucking apes, or they're gonna kill you. And she uses several stories of those apes, you know, killing black women as an example, right? And had a link been made between her and Miss Archduchess, and as she got black women over the hump, right, then Miss Archduchess could have kind of, you know, controlled the more spiritual aspect. All right, now that you over the hump, let's get into the spirituality of what is really happening, right? And they both have larger channels than I do, right? And I felt like that link should have happened, and I kind of know why it didn't. I'm not gonna share that here, but what I will say is, because it did not happen, we have a mess on our hands with divested black women, going fucking nowhere. Going nowhere but to beta white males. And I'm worried. And I'm worried. I really am, because I feel like here we are, we had a moment. And I'll tell you how this moment happened. Because I saw it happening in real time. It happened for me, and it happened for a lot of black women, right? Coronavirus hit, and I really feel like, although black women suffered during the coronavirus, right? And we suffered. We suffered and struggling, because some of us worked those frontline jobs that we could not leave. We had to go in and we had to face the coronavirus head on. We couldn't take no days off, you know. We ended up getting coronavirus, some of us, and surviving it several times. At this point, it's just like, my nose is stuffy. I can't smell. I got coronavirus again, right? For some black women who were working those frontline jobs, right? And then for black women who were not working and who were suffering with not working and not having money, you know, we suffered in that way. And then, of course, black women died from coronavirus, right? But what was also happening was black women set their ass down for a little while. For a little while, black women set their asses down, and we set our asses down, and we all started to look around at life. We started to look around at life, and we started to look around at how we were living and the life that we were kind of trapped in, and we decided we didn't want it anymore, right? I remember pre-coronavirus, and I was in a relationship with for Ape, and I used to look at him like dead in his face, and I used to be like, this is not what I want for my life. It became a fucking chant for me. And it became a chant for me, so much so that I do it all the time now. Every time something comes into my life that I don't want, I say, this is not what I want for my life. I totally reject it. This is not what I want for my life. Right? And I feel like black women, we were sitting our asses down, and we was making that chant, right? During coronavirus, right? This guy ended up breaking up with before coronavirus, but I kept that chant, and I think that black women, as a collective, our minds was just saying, like, this is not what we want. This is not what we want, right? And we had a little time to sit on it, right? We had a little time to sit on it, whether it was at that time, and I believe that time was orchestrated by the grandmother, right? And as we began to say that chant, she began to tune in and to become aligned with black women, and we ended up connecting in online spaces, right? And we ended up meeting like-minded women who thought the same ways that we thought, and wanted a life that was different in the same ways that we wanted it, and we started to connect in different ways, right? But even as we connected, we were still kind of isolated, right? Black women, divested black women, Cronin black women. Well, I think, I'm not going to say Cronin black women, because I think that I do hope that we can no longer be isolated, right? We can truly, as grown and black women, truly decide to choose ourselves. And I hope that that is, where most of the women who listen to my content are headed. And I know that black women that's going to choose themselves are going to be a very small amount of black women. Black women who are going to definitely choose themselves over all else, right, is going to be a small amount of women. And I think that it's because of what has to be given up in order for you to choose yourself. Once you realize that you and all of your power and all of your divinity, when you're not just, and I know that I have realized, right? And this is, again, back to self-realization versus self-actualization, right? I know that I have realized, okay, I've realized who black women are. I realized who we are, who I am, where the kind of power that I have access to, right? But to really actualize that and to really tap into that kind of power, I know that it might leave me at odds with men. with men in general, right? And then my standard for a man has raised substantially. Like at first it was just like no niggas, like a no nigga diet, and that was cool. And I've been on that diet. It's been treating me very well. I'm telling you, my skin is looking better. I'm losing weight. I've lost weight. I'm feeling better than I ever have on that no nigga diet, right? But as I begin to date out, right, I realized these fucking white boys, and I didn't been around for a little, look, because I'm a woman and I'm a straight woman, and I teeter-totter on the fence of dating and not dating. So sometimes I'll jump in and I'll see what's out there, and then I'll decide ain't shit popping. Ain't shit popping, and I'll just go back to my work. And what I really want, okay, so anyway, not even just white males, but Asian males, the Indians are fucking garbage. Who else I X'd out? The Arabs are fucking nuts. I mean, look, I didn't try, y'all. I didn't try with these males, okay? But as I began to try to date, as I'm trying to self-actualize, I'm just realizing, wait a minute, all of these males ain't it, right? And black males specifically ain't shit, but all of them, right? All of them. And what I can do now in knowing that is just choose myself, right? I didn't weigh all my options. I didn't thought about it. And I don't want it to sound like I'm choosing myself because the male's not it, right? It's the opposite, right? Because I'm choosing myself, the males aren't it. Because I'm choosing myself and my standard is so high, the males are not it. And I think that if divested black women were to really be honest, right? The most of you, right? You would realize that yes, you got a better option in males by dating out, but they still not quite good enough either, are they? like they still not quite good enough either. So, and choosing myself, I had to sit down and really think about the things that I needed from a male. Like, what was it that I needed from a male in my life? And the number one thing that women need from black women, right? Listen, Becky is over there really trying to be you. And she's trying to be a free woman. She's trying to get her freedom, right? This whole feminist thing that white women are living today. They are, well, first of all, they're being led by males. That's the first thing, right? They're being led by males, right? Because they dumb. because Becky is an idiot, right? She is not as smart. She's not as smart as you are. She's not as spiritually in tune as you are, which is why, the LGBT activist shit sounds good for black women, but when you really get into the spiritualism of it, it starts feeling funny to you, right? It starts to feel like for some reason it's not it. And Becky can't feel that because she is fucking spiritually dead any fucking way. See, here go the shit. Here go the shit I should not be talking about one fucking YouTube. But anyway, yeah. Anyhow, she can't feel the things that you feel as a black woman, right? She just can't feel it. So she can't feel that this feminism that she is talking about. Well, let me take that back, because what's her name? The one that wrote Harry Potter. She knows. She knows. She's on to feminism, right? But most white women, and they're not really onto it. They don't know that it's led by males. It's about to lead their asses to a fucking another witch hunt, and they're missing it, right? But we feel it in our spirit, right? Mother's like, listen, daughter, this is not it. This is not it. To the grown black woman. And sometimes when we feel that feeling like it's not it, like, we gotta sit down with it and be like, tell me why. Because it felt like I should have been on this bandwagon, right? The gay males were over here being our friends, doing our hair, hooking us up in all different kinds of ways. So when you felt that in your spirit, like, wait a minute, slow the fuck down. This LGBT community shit ain't it. Some of us might be bisexual. Some of us might be lesbians. And we're just like, wait a minute, help me understand why this not it. Because it feel like it's it. But deep down in my spirit, it feel like it ain't it. And in most ways, we feel that way, right? And I started to feel that way about divestment. I gotta tell y'all the truth. I started to feel that way about divestment, right? And I had been a couple of months ago, like trying to get away from divestment because it was so harsh to black women, and I mean the larger divestment community, right? But as I began to see black women in their desperation, I just thought that I thought it was pathetic. And I also thought, that it was pathetic, for one. So I was watching this level of desperation from black women because black women are scared of shit, right? And when you're talking about the permanent underclass and your face is the face of the permanent underclass, I think maybe black male's face may be the face of the permanent underclass, but guess what, sis? You producing them, so and you're marrying them. If you marry them, you're having babies with them, right? So, yeah, your face is the face of the fucking permanent underclass. You are very, very frightened, right? So, you have this fear that black women are living in. You have this desperation that black women are living in. And then you have this lack of spirituality from black women that we live in. And you want to take that empty of a vessel, right? You want to take that empty of a divine fucking vessel over to any male in general and just offer it up to him. I didn't like it. I didn't like it, and I was not here for it, right? I felt like black women, this is how it must go, if it must go, right? And as I said, I do teeter-totter on dating all the time, right? I do. I open up my dating apps and I'll, do what's necessary to weed out the apes and the niggles, right? And I will have white males message me and I'll be like, I'll think the same fucking thing I think about apes. Like, what the fuck had him think that he had the fucking audacity? Right? Right? And I know that it's the collective desperation, the collective fear, the collective lack of connection to the grandmother that black women live in that had him think that he could have the fucking audacity to fucking message me. Brad, listen. Brad, guess what? You're not good enough either. You know, I know I said them Ace wasn't good enough, but then it got to the point where, Brad, you're not good enough even. It was because I started to not just self-realize, but I started to try to live in that kind of goddesshood. And no, I'm far from it, right? I be still eating McDonald's, you know? And when I eat McDonald's, I remind myself this is not how a goddess is supposed to eat, right? But not even in eating McDonald's. Like, whatever I'm doing, and it's really below, you know, below goddesshood, beneath goddesshood, right? I remind myself that this is not how a goddess, you know, lives her life. Like, this is not it. And when I started to think about in dating what I needed from a man, right? And it sounds like, and black women kind of get it, right? They kind of get it. And this whole luxury thing, right? Black women want a life of luxury, right? They want to go over to Brad, and they want him to pay all the bills, and they want him to take care of them, and they want to, like, travel and, like, eat good food and, like, you know, have sex that's not fucking violent, right? And I get it, they're on the right track, right? That you're on the right track, but what you really wanted to do, let me tell you, sis, what you really wanted to do. You wanted a man to come into your life if he must. If he must, it's your decision, right? You can do it on your own if you want to. You're a black woman. You have the ability to both live in your feminine and masculine energy, right? So what you wanted was for a male to come inside of your life and for him to do the masculine, right? For him to do the masculine work so that you had time to actually do the self-actualization, right? This is what I mean when I say that black women, it's the final hour, you must choose yourself. And you must choose yourself in everything that you are doing, right? So if you are deciding to date, you know, non-black men, right? And at this point, I ain't gonna say that yet, right? But, you know, you're deciding to date non-black men, right? And what you need him to do, right? And I think that some other ends, I really try not to be problematic on this fucking YouTube, right? When it comes to black women. But I just need for everybody to just tell the truth, right? I just need for everybody to tell the truth so that black women can get it. Like, you're not being honest about all of the things black women, especially black women content creators, like, you're not telling all of the truth, right? And it's a lot of regnant queens around here. And when I tell you it's a lot of regnant queens around here that are regnant queens and they live as regnant queens and they don't tell us because they don't think that we can. They don't think that we have the power and the ability to live as regnant queens. So what they try to do, and I did it too, right? They try to just give us the easy out. The easy out is just to be a queen consort to a safe man. Like, just do that. Like black women, if you must be with a man, right? Just be with a man that's gonna be safe. Like, let's just do that, right? But the gag is that these men are still weaklings, right? And you still have the face and you still live inside of the unsafeness of being a black woman, right? And imagine this, and I need you to imagine it because the shit be happening, right? Imagine you and your fucking, as they say, you and your bottom shelf bread out, right? And Tyrone comes in and he's angry, he's upset, he's mad at the world, right? And he totally disrespects you, right? And this was a question that was asked in a chat, right? And my answer was, I said, I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm not even gonna hold you. Brad better bust his ass, right? And I meant it. Like, Brad better bust his ass. Or, if I'm still being disrespected, violated by fucking apes, then I could have just been by my fucking self, right? Black women have to start realizing that. Like, if I'm gonna still struggle, and when I say struggle, I don't mean white males coming into your life to just, clean up all your mess, right? But if he does come into your life to clean up some of your fucking mess, it gives you the opportunity to self-actualize. It gives you the opportunity to choose yourself, right? And if he is a decent male, he does not mind that. And most males, I have to just be honest with you, most males are not decent. Most males do not want black women to live in our goddesshood. And it's why these marriages between black women and I'm gonna say it. Matter of fact, if I knew how to go back and edit out what I was just now saying, I would, but I don't. Y'all know I don't. So, and I'm already 51 minutes into the video, so I can't start all over. But I don't want to step on no black woman toes, right? But what I will say is, black women, if you are choosing, okay, so black women, you have to choose yourself in this final hour, right? And in choosing yourself, right, I want to be very, very responsible in the advices that I give black women and dating, right? And the reason why is because the ladies, and I'm just gonna be honest with you, the ladies that you listen to, right? The geniuses, the black women who have done this work forever, they chose themselves, right? And they chose themselves, and that's why they're single. Because they knew that, if they, in order to choose themselves, right, they had to decide that most males were going to be beneath them. And I'm not saying that those black women don't see males for a good time, right? But that whole getting married thing is a huge... that whole getting married thing and being with a male is a huge blessing to any male from a black woman, right? So when I say that black males don't deserve pardoning in that way, right? But all the males are in your dads, right? All the males are in your dad, right? Not just black males, right? Because when white males decided some shit, right? Historically. White males decided some shit, right? Historically. And when they made those decisions historically, they did not think about how it would affect you as a black woman. They didn't think about the curse that it would put on themselves because of the harm that it did to black women. And a good example of that, I'll use the crack epidemic. And I was born in the fucking 80s, right? And I remember seeing how crack took over the black community, right? And someone said in a chat that I was in, and she was right? She said black women love black men so much that black women bought crack to make them rich, right? But again, what black women miss, right, is that a lot of things can be happening at one time, right? A lot of things can be happening at one time, right? So when crack came into the black community, we all did our history. We all did our history on the black community, right? And how the crack epidemic swept through the black community and how everybody's mother was a fucking crackhead. And I remember, let me tell you a thought that I had when I was like 9 years old, and I shared this with my brother. And when I shared this with my brother, now he's my younger brother, but he was so shocked that this was a thought that I had, right? And I used to have a thought that my mother would, because everybody mother smoked crack, right? Everybody mother was smoking crack. And I used to have a thought that my mother was going to smoke crack, like everybody else's mother, right? And it was a thought of a 9-year-old girl, right? So this was a harm that was done to a black 9-year-old girl. And that was just a fear that I had. It wasn't my reality, right? There were 9-year-old girls whose mothers were crackheads, right? Remember that song, Your Mama is a Crackhead? Remember that shit? If you was born in the fucking 80s, you felt, if you are a black woman in the United States of America in the fucking 80s, you felt how crack came into our communities and tore us up, right? And black males could have decided, I'm not going to sell crack, right? These apes could have decided, okay, the government has decided to put crack, because they said, right, this is what they said happened. I wasn't there. I was just a little 9-year-old girl that was worried my mother was going to be a fucking crackhead, right? And my mother did not smoke crack. My mother did not drink. My mother did not do any drugs, by the way. She smoked cigarettes. That was her thing, right? But she did not do any drugs. And that kind of trickled down on me. I'd be scared to do all the drugs. Plus, I was terrorized by crack. Like, y'all, because all black women were going through this. But when I tell people how terrorized I was of crack and drugs, like, it was bad. And then I thought that marijuana, right? I never smoked weed in my whole life. And the reason why is because I thought that marijuana led to crack. And if I smoked weed, I was going to be a fucking crackhead. This is how fearful my thoughts were as a little girl about crack, right? But, okay, let me tell you, it was 2 people responsible for that, right? And we're going to put most of the blame on black males, because they could have decided, you know what? I'm not going to sell crack to my mother, okay? That shit, no government who's putting crack inside my neighborhoods. No, you cannot, or no government who's bringing the crack into the United States of America and giving it to us to fucking smoke. No, I'm not going to do that to the women in my community, right? But they didn't, right? And, it's a curse on them for that. But see, these curses are shared. These curses are shared, right? And the debt is owed by males in general, right? Because the white male collective or the government or whoever the fuck could have decided that this could affect black women and girls in a horrific way, right? During slavery, there was no, of course, our attachment to a cursed thing, cursed us. Like, at any time we could decide, you know what, fuck these niggas, we out, right? But we didn't. We decided to stay, and we decided to smoke crack and buy. When I say we, I mean the collective, right? We decided to stay, and we decided to smoke crack to make these niggas rich, right? And at any time, we could have just decided, no, this ain't it, right? And also, at any time, black males could have decided, I'm not going to sell crack, right? Black males could have decided during slavery, oh, you know what, this is too harsh for black women. I'm just going to off myself, right? Because how does slavery look, and I mean chattel slavery in the United States of America. How does chattel slavery look without males, right? Like, let's just think about that. How does it look without males? And how does it happen without males, right? So the males could have just decided, you know what, I'm in the fucking way. Let me just go. I'm in the fucking way. Right? But they didn't. They didn't decide to war with white people and die. That's what listen, they could have decided, the males could have decided, I'm going to war with master and I'm going to die. Fuck it. I can't be in slavery like this. I cannot watch the women, that not only was white males raping black women during slavery, the fucking slaves themselves, the black male slaves were raping black women too. I mean, it was just this has been a fucking horror for black women, but black males could have decided, you know what, I can't see the women of my race being fucked up like this. I'm just going to war with these fucking, white males and die. Fuck it. But they didn't, right? So you got us, we could have decided, during the crack epidemic, we could have decided, you know what, I'm not going to fucking stand by these niggas We could have really just sold them out during slavery too. We did not. And then they always could have decided that I'm not going to sell crack to black women, and I'm not going to sell crack and destroy my neighborhoods, and I'm also not going to be a slave to white males. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to allow the women of my race to be in bondage like this. I'm going to war, right? But also, at some point, white males could have also looked at the fact that these are women and how it would have affected women and how it was affecting black women, and they did not either. Right? So, black women, I came to say that your love or your dedication or your commitment to white males, right? It's pardoning them too, right? It's pardoning them too, right? In a sense, you're kind of like, you're kind of giving them some good karma, right? In dating them, in marrying them, and procreating with them, you're giving them some good karma, right? And in doing that, they should be giving you something too. And in doing that, right? Let me cough. So in doing that, they should be giving you something too. And what they need to be giving you is the freedom to be able to choose yourself, to begin to work on yourself, to begin to heal yourself, to begin to actually do the work necessary for you to live in your divinity, for you to begin to self-actualize. And when I'm thinking about dating males, right? Okay, so and my decision to date non-black men, right? I know that I am, offering them some fucking good karma, right? And black women are karma. According to Hoodoo, right? Black women are karma, right? We get to serve karma, whether it be good or bad, right? That's why, you never, that's really why that opiate epidemic came around to white women so fucking fast, right? Because of the destruction that it did to black women, that crack epidemic did to black women and girls. Me sitting up at 9 years old thinking that my mother was going to be a fucking crackhead like all of my friends and mothers, right? Thinking that, that was a curse against everybody. No 9-year-old girl should be thinking like that. That was a curse to everybody. Every thought that I had, every way I've been stagnated in my growth as far as, black women experience life in a way that can be fun for them, right? And when I mean like, I do mean in trying drugs, goddammit, right? And I look at my friends who smoke weed, right? And they be smoking weed, and they be vibing high, right? Because they believe that weed is opening up their pineal gland. And most of my friends that smoke weed, they were able to create in that time, right? When they be high, they be creating, right? And they'll tell me all the time, like, Preem, you gotta try to smoke. I'm telling you, it's gonna help you, get your creative juices flowing. Well, god damn it, I can't smoke no fucking weed because of the fucking trauma of the crack era, right? And then they'll be like, oh, well, you just gotta try some mushrooms. Bitch, I'm not trying none of that shit. Like, listen, I really be like, I'm not trying none of that shit. I have a friend, and I know that coke is crack, right? I know that coke is like a big boy drug right now. I'm not thinking about trying coke. I never thought about it. But she had made a Facebook post, and because she's from Cali and they snort coke over there. And she was like, why y'all so scared to snort coke? And I commented, and this was back, I commented, bitch, coke is crack, okay? Listen, y'all not gonna convince me that coke ain't crack. Like, y'all just not gonna convince me of that. But I'm just in that saying, right? Coke really is crack, y'all. But I'm just saying, like, the good times that black women are able to have and being, you know, being wild and being free. I couldn't, because, you know, I always thought that it would lead me to crack, right? And I was fearful of sucking dick in the alley for crack, because I saw my friend's mother sucking dick in alleys for crack. Like, this is what I was seeing as a little girl, and you mean to tell me that's not a curse to somebody? You mean to tell me 9-year-old little girls seeing their friends' mothers, right? Black women, the mothers, sucking dick in the alley for crack was not a fucking curse against every fucking body? Damn it, it was a curse against everybody, and that's why that opiate crisis came in and was wiping white women out like ain't nobody business. But anyway, I said all that, got all off topic. But the point I was trying to make was that, listen, white males are in your debt too, okay? And if you're going to be a crowning black woman, okay, you have to make sure that he's working for his he's working, and it's not in the ways that, see, crowning black women, we doing this different, right? It's not in the ways of the black woman who wants to live in luxury and wants to lay around and, you know, drink wine and whatever they want to do. It's in the way of so much of my life, right? So much of my life has been taken from me in general, right? And your thought as a white man is to come and date me, right? Because women don't seek men, or I don't seek men, right? Your thought is to come and seek me, and this is what I need from a man that's coming into my life, right? And so, moving on. So, in every way, black woman, you must realize that this is the final hour and to choose yourself. And that includes in dating, right? And when you are choosing yourself in dating, it's not about luxury and being able to fly out and sit on balconies, right? It's to advance your soul. It's to advance your soul. It's to truly be able to live in the divinity that you actually came here in. And if you are truly able to do that, right, and you're a married woman to a non-black male, do you realize the blessing, okay? The blessing that you are to this male? Do you realize the blessing that you are to this male? So when I say that black women, so when I'm saying that black women should be making sure that when they're dating, that they are in a place that they can truly grow and they can truly self-actualize, it's because of the blessing that you'll be to him any fucking way. And that can be possibly the lazy crone's way. And that can possibly be the lazy crone's way, okay? Let's just call it what it is. It's possibly the lazy crone's way. But even in that, she would still be choosing herself in this final hour, right? Because she would be doing the work necessary in the events that he's not able to take care of her anymore, right? Or he's not able to allow her the space to truly work on herself, that she's done enough work, that she can fend for herself when and if the shit hit the fan, right? When and if the shit hit the fan, she's prepared. So, another thing I wanted to touch on was the isolation of black women and how dangerous it is, and how I've been seeing it play out. So in Divestment, you got black women, of course, isolated, because now you don't think like any of the black women that you've been talking to, that you've been dealing with, that you've been hanging with. None of your cousins think like you do. Your sisters don't. None of your friends, right? Nobody in your immediate circle of friendships is thinking how you think. And some of those friendships are ending, and you're deciding to sever ties with some of those people, and it just feels so lonely. And then you get this thought that it's supposed to be that way, right? That's what everybody's saying in Divestment, right? It's a lonely journey and you're just going to be alone. And that's just how it is, right? And then, so I heard that happening in divested spaces. Then I go over and then I realize that, wait a minute, it's black males, right? Listen, y'all not going to confuse me with black males taking dick and have me think it ain't a black male. Like, I know that y'all think that y'all can do that to me, but y'all can't. That's never going to work for me, okay? So, it's gay black males also leading divestment spaces, but they still fucking with black men. So, I'm thinking to myself, like, wait a fucking minute, because it feel like it's just a push on black women to just be isolated. So, you got divestment isolating black women, and then you have black males pushing divestment to isolate black women, right? And we understand, we have to know that it is power in women coming together, right? We know that, right? That's an undeniable fact. So when you are doing this kind of, self-work, right? And you are doing what's necessary to live in your divinity as a goddess, right? And then you decide to tap in with other black women who are of the same alignment as you, right? And you create these little, small, tiny, right? Really tiny. Don't be all out here being crazy now. You know, the more women in these spaces, the more dangerous it becomes, right? So you're making these little tiny, these little tiny tribes of women, right? But they are so powerful. They are so powerful. We are not meant to be traveling alone. We're not meant to be traveling alone. And that's the truth of the matter. And I think that this coronavirus and black women being able to find other black women who think like us, right? It's because the Divine Mother knows that we're not meant to be traveling this journey alone. And of course, everybody's journey is different. You know, everybody was not a 9-year-old girl fucking being traumatized by crack, right? Some black women had different stories of their own fucking trauma that went on due to Blackistan, right? But we know that we eventually got to the point where we realized it was not normal, right? And we wanted out. And as we decided to realize that it was not normal and we wanted out, our sister, right, wanted that as well. And this is when we start talking about soul tribes, right? But that is, you know, that's another story for another day. But these tribes of women who are deciding to link up and deciding to be together in some kind of way, whether it just be in Discord service, actual black women who are deciding to link in real life and live together. I was reading articles about single moms who were deciding to live together and to raise their children together. Like, these kinds of things have to start happening for black women, because we are not meant to be alone in what's to come, and there is more power when we are together, right? So, I'm not encouraging black women to just start linking with every single black woman who comes into your space and you think she think a little bit like you. Of course, I want for you to vet, right? And I want for you to set a standard, for women that are coming into your space. But I do think that black women have to stop being so isolated. I don't think that that's safe for us anymore. And I do think that black women have to start seeking some kind of community with each other. And with that being said, if I spoke to you over the past weekend, and black women like to talk, and I do, of course, because I've been talking for an hour and 20 minutes, and myself included, right? So if you sent me an email since this past weekend about being in my Discord server, I cannot talk. I cannot schedule, like, I guess maybe the interviews. I don't know what to call it because it's not really an interview. But, you know, conversations where I'm talking to black women and I'm really trying to feel out black women and see if you are right for my space. But I can only do that once a month, right? So if you're sending me emails about being in my Discord, I will start scheduling those kinds of conversations next month, the mid next month. Because black women like to talk, damn it. And I was up all Friday and Saturday and some of Sunday talking to black women, and just, feeling the vibe, basically. But that was a lot. That was a lot for me. So, the women that I did talk to, I will be sending out Discord links, this coming weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday-ish. And if you have sent me an email, I will be responding to your emails. So if you send me emails, I will be responding to your emails, but I won't be, inviting new ladies to my Discord until next month, mid next month. And, I will send you the time and how we gonna the time and the days that we'll talk, and I'll get you into my Discord. So if you're sending me emails or you sent me an email, that's the update on that. And to the ladies I did talk to, I will be sending out a Discord link this weekend, because I really want black women to start getting into, self-actualization. Let us really, truly live like the fucking goddesses we are, right? And I think, I'm on to some of these ladies. In this BWE space, right? And I know that they have self-actualized, and I know y'all don't be fucking with males, I know I'm on to you, sis, right? And this is because I'm realizing now how much harder it's become for me to date and my own, and I like males, right? Not that other ladies don't, right? But not only that, I'm also younger, right? I'm also younger, so it's harder for me to just it's not like a want that I need, I need to know that males, want me, because that's, as long as you're a woman, males gonna want you. But the fact that I may be a little bit interested in them too is a lot more stronger for me than it is for a 50, 60-year-old woman, right? And a 50 and 60-year-old woman, when she was my age, she was living her life, right? And so, I be struggling. I know the other black women, I know for sure, maidens, because if I be struggling, realizing, oh shit, all these males is just beneath me. Like, now how can I find the best one, or not necessarily find, or which one of these males will be the best one of use to me, right? And this because I know what I need, right? I know what I need from a male, and I know that that's a struggle for maidens, because maidens, for some maidens, because I talked to some maidens this past weekend that were I talked to some amazing black women this past weekend. Shout out to you ladies. If I talked to you over the last weekend or the last couple of days, you women are truly, truly top tier. I didn't talk to not one single woman that I was not truly amazed by. Truly amazed by. That is how I know that it's no fucking HBIC, right? It's no, I don't think that it's no fucking HBIC. That is not, and there never was one. I think that's why, so much friction in the BWE spaces, because everybody wants to be an HBIC, and I'm telling you, there is none. Every single woman that I talked to over the last couple of days was a goddess in her own right. Just truly divine black women. And I was talking to black women ranging from 18, right? 18-year-olds to 65-year-old black women, and every single one of them was a goddess, a freaking goddess in her own right. Amazing black women. And that's for every single black woman I talked to over the last couple of days. Truly divine, beautiful, magnificent black women, goddesses in their own right. And there is no HBIC. There is no HBIC. It's truly a black woman. It's truly what does I want to say? It's truly a goddess for every single area of expertise, and they all came through with their own area, and even some of the maidens, they didn't know, right? But in me talking to them, right, I was able to see their gift. I was able to see what they brought to the space. Even if she didn't know, some ladies, I had to tell them, like, this is what you got, sis. And talking to you over the last hour and a half, and I had allotted, 2 hours for to talk to every lady. And when I tell you, every woman took up her 2 hours. Every one of you took up your 2 hours. And in talking to them for 2 hours, I was able to see what was divine in them. Like what was goddess like in them. And even for the maidens that was not really able to tell, and not even just the maidens, some mothers was just like, well, a little bit confused about what their gift was, but I was able to pinpoint it every single time. And I'm telling you, these are some divine black women. And I'm happy that you're in my space, and I can't wait for you all to talk to each other and, start being in the community with each other. And yeah, you'll be getting those Discord links probably Fridays and Saturday this weekend. But anyway, that's my final hour video. This is the final hour, black women. Choose yourself. It's now or fucking never. And I do feel like it's now or never. Like, if black women, if you do not get this right, if you do not get this right now, if you're a black woman, that you could just, we could just be fucked up for another fucking, what? How long it's been? How long it's been, y'all? Who been counting? But yeah, we will continue to just be fucked up unless we get it right now. Right? And the fact that so many of us is getting it right now. I remember some of the older ladies talking about, when I was here, wasn't nobody ready. Damn it, we're ready now. Damn it, black women are ready now. And not all black women, but a good number of black women are ready. And that's really all it takes, right? As we know, it's nations and black women wombs. It's nations of black women and black women's wombs. So, with that being said, it ain't gotta be a lie. It ain't gotta be a lie, right? Anyhow, I love you, ladies. I'm gonna go now because I probably really just been rambling. And really, what else do I do on these videos but really ramble? And thank you, ladies, for coming and sitting with me for a little while I ramble. I hope that some of those downloads, tapped into your spirit, okay? That's it. I love you, ladies. Have a good Thursday, I think have a good Thursday.